Hey, so we have Ask Me Anything today, and we had some good questions on our regular People Facebook Live, and had a couple that came to us through various sources through the week. So I'm curious from the other realtors if you'd drop in the comments if you're on YouTube or on Facebook. Let us know. We have some specific answers to these because of where we are in our market. If your market is different, I'd like to know that. Because the first one was last night I was watching Law and Order SVU, and the crime was committed in an empty apartment. And on the way to go visit the crime scene, the two characters were talking, and one said, well, the sellers have been trying to sell it for months. And the other one said, oh, interest rates. And I thought, wow, we're not seeing months on market in Chicagoland. I mean, maybe some places, but certainly Danielle and I have not experienced that. Based on the interest rates, we're certainly seeing an impact from interest rates, but not the market didn't stop. We're still getting multiple offers. We're still trying to schedule showings, and curious what other people are seeing. So that was our pretty much our answer to that question. Not happening, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. I know Rockford is having some, but again, some of these houses that have work needing to be done, and maybe the I don't even know, maybe the highest of markets, but even that, if you were a $500,000 buyer and now can only 450, there's 450, people who were previously 450 or 400, well, 450 still there. Somebody's looking to buy it.
We are certainly seeing buyers pickier because they feel like they're stretching to the top of their budget. They feel like they could have gotten something better. And so, they're still kind of stuck on that. Also, as you mentioned, work being done, they're not interested in spending all of their money on something that needs work. So I think sellers are better off doing those things if they can ahead of time. So they're going on the market, move-in ready, and more buyers are going to be ready to jump on that than they are if there's, I showed a house today. It was in great shape, but there were a few things, like there was only one bathroom on the second floor, and everything else we've looked at has two. So that was something that the buyers weren't really interested in taking on, and didn't want to, try to figure out how to take part of a bedroom or something like that, right, and change it. So, buyers
are deal killers in any, there's certain things that are, if your market has all 3-bedroom and you're selling a 2-bedroom, that's going to be less desirable, no matter what type of market it is.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of misconception that because there's so little available, buyers will buy anything. And that's not really, so that kind of makes it a dichotomy. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
So then the next question was, somebody asked me the other day, is this still happening? Are people buying houses for more than they're worth? And it's a little bit of a teaching moment, I think, because obviously we get drilled into our head from pre-licensing class all the way through every CE course ever taken. What is value? It is what a ready, willing, and able buyer is willing to spend, and a ready, willing, and able seller is willing to accept. And that's it. That's the market value. It doesn't matter what I say the value is. It doesn't matter what an appraiser says the value is. It doesn't matter what the people down the street think the value is or what the seller thinks the value is. It matters what happens in that meeting of the minds.
And that's what, that's kind of goes hand in hand with the last one, where it's like people just assume that anything, that nothing has value or the interest rates are going to affect it. People have wants, people have what they're looking for. And when they find it, especially if it's taken them a long time, if they have the means, they're going to go for it. They're not worried, they're not worried about what it's going to be worth in a year or 10 months or 10 years.
Yeah, they want a place to live and they're willing to write that check every month.
Correct.
That's what it comes down to, which is what we tell them to focus on. So sometimes they're paying over list, they're paying over ask, they're paying over appraisal value, but that doesn't mean they're paying over market value.
Yes, just because, I mean, absolutely everybody can have their, as I said in the live, I would never spend that much money on a pink or red Stanley. It's perfectly okay for a buyer to say that they do not believe that 1-bedroom, 3-bath home is worth the same as something else they were looking at. But it doesn't mean that it's overvalued. It just means you don't see the value in it.
Exactly. And that might be because that's not the neighborhood you absolutely want to be in.
Yes.
Or that's not the style of house you absolutely want to have. So we'll say, we can find you what you're looking for in your price range. It's just going to be someplace else. Location.
Right.
But to put an arbitrary value on something that is different from that one definition of that's what someone will pay for it, it just doesn't make any sense. So yes, we're always worried that values will change, but the definition right now is if somebody bought it for that, that's what it's worth. And then what was your last question?
The one that I had brought up is that somebody had posted today on a local Facebook group about a coworker being extremely frustrated with the market, saying that she wasn't certain if her realtor was doing what was necessary in the market and if she should change realtors. And luckily, surprisingly, a majority of the people were just saying, we're putting in offers and it was going for over asking and cash offers, and she was frustrated. Somehow it was the realtor's fault, and luckily people were basically saying, no, this is just the market. This, you have cash buyers. Why would you expect somebody who's a seller to choose your financed offer, that might have more hoops, and when somebody can close in 2 weeks with cash and it's guaranteed and whatever. Not that cash always wins out, but there was other extenuating circumstances, but one being just the low amount of inventory out there, that not only one person can win the deal. So the realtor isn't necessarily at fault. Hopefully that they can, like you said, you started this talking about trusting your realtor. It's about gaining trust. When we say, hey, I will put this down for you, but the closing costs you're asking for, or only being willing.
Are you sure you're only willing to go up to $5,000 over list price? Because we know that there's at least 10 offers, and that's probably it's probably going to go for. Are you going to be happy if you lose it for that? That's always my my litmus test. And then it's not even a matter always of clients not listening to the realtor. There are going to be some good offers that lose. Most people are going to lose. You've got 20 offers on a place, 19 of them are not going to get it. Some of those are going to be good offers.
And they're going to be great realtors.
Right. So it's frustrating, and we all know, but we need to, and we need not to buy into that too. When you see that on Facebook, we really need not to try to throw that other agent under the bus and say, well, we're not having any problem getting our clients under contract. BS.
Correct.
Prove that. Then you don't have any buyers.
You don't have you're not the secret whisperer of buyers. Trust me, when I win, I feel like I did.
Absolutely. I will take the pat on the back.
That everybody else should attain to. But when I lose, if even, it doesn't necessarily mean I didn't give the right advice. It didn't mean that the clients necessarily did the wrong thing.
Exactly. And then the last question, everybody is as irritated as we are by. A client of mine last night, we've been waiting for this house to come on the market. It just came on the market and there are no showings available. So I'm working on that, and we'll try to figure out what the heck they're thinking. But in the meantime, my client sent me a screenshot of a popular broker website that is also a marketing website. And and they sent me a screenshot that said that they could click a button and schedule an appointment for 11 o'clock today. So I had to explain to them that that's just lead capture, that it's not real, that there is no 11 o'clock appointment available today for anyone. And all they would be doing is being sold to a realtor who would try to follow up with them and find out the same thing that I'm already telling them. So that was another good question from a client. How does this work? Why is it so confusing? Why is it so shadily disingenuous? But
well, there's rules in our MLS against that. So I really think you should look into that.
Yes, absolutely. That's on my list next.
To do.
So, oh, and also I'm going to throw this out there. So many people are doing this thing. We do it in different markets, but the no showings until the open house on Saturday, so that you can build up fake urgency and make it harder for buyers to buy. Really, please stop.
And
That's all about you.
Just doesn't mean that only the most ambitious buyers are going to come to your open house either.
Right. And it, narrowing the time that the many people who are out there
Exposure
can see it. I don't think you're doing your seller any good in this market. I understand the tactic. As I said, we often use something similar. We don't go quite to the open house, but we do try to get everybody kind of in, around the same time. We do try to drive traffic all at once. We understand the sentiment behind it, but it's not necessary to really make it worse than it needs to be.
It's hard enough right now.
What's that?
I said it's hard enough right now.
It's hard enough. All right. See you next week.
All right. See you then. On our market report.
Phew.
Bless you.
Yes, market reports. And we want to hear about yours.
Yes.